The movie begins with the druid Panoramix trying to find a certain ingredient for his secret recipe in a forest near Gaul. When he hears a baby bird in distress, he rescues it and returns it to the nest, but in doing so, he falls off the tree as the branch under him gives way, and this results in him breaking his foot. He is found by Asterix and Obelix, who find him on the forest floor while chasing hogs. They take him back to his house in the village, where many children are awaiting him from their lessons. But Asterix tells them to go home since Panoramix is hurt. All the students run away happily, except Pectine. The villagers want to help the druid, but he hides at his house. He is angry and ashamed that despite getting away unscathed in various challenges during his lifetime, a mere fall from the tree has rendered him incapable of performing his duties. Asterix and the chief of the village try to cheer him up, but Panoramix realizes his end is near, so he decides to embark upon a journey to find a young successor whom he can entrust with his recipe for making the magic potion that gives super strength to anyone who drinks it. The magic potion is the reason why the villagers are able to keep their Roman enemies at bay. Asterix is upset that entrusting a young druid with the secret of the magic potion might lead to chaos due to their inexperience. Obelix builds a carrier seat for the druid Panoramix and carries him over to Asterix. Panoramix tells him that he is right in thinking that this is a decision full of risk. But this is exactly the reason he wishes to take Asterix along with him, because he is one of the finest warriors he has ever known, so he knows he will be in safe hands. Panoramix sends a message to the Gallic druids for a meeting via his pigs. All the villagers gather to say goodbye to the druid, Asterix, and Obelix. The chief wishes the druid to change his mind, but the druid is certain that this needs to be done. As another villager inquires why he does not choose a successor from any of the villagers, Panoramix tells him this is not the way it works. They leave for the forest of Carnot. As they are about to enter the premises, they notice some commotion in the cauldron they have brought along. As Asterix heads over to the cauldron, thinking it is some sort of enemy, he finds out that it is Pectine. They are livid to have this girl on such a dangerous mission, and the two best friends, Asterix and Obelix, start bickering. This scares Pectine, who starts crying, so the druid consoles her and asks her about the model she created in class that she has brought along. Panoramix goes with her to meet all the druids at the Grand Council and asks her to disguise herself as a boy. At the Grand Council of Druids, Panoramix is surprised to find the Great Chamber is empty. As it turns out, the druids surprise him with a party since he fell off a tree. Panoramix realizes the pigs did not deliver the entire message he had sent, and he tells the council he wishes to find a young successor to replace him as the owner of the secret potion recipe. The council disapproves initially, but then they give him a list of all young druids. Suddenly, they are interrupted by an evil druid, Sulfurix, who was revoked from the council due to his evil practices. He wants to steal Panoramix's secret recipe to gain favors from the Roman forces. Sulfurix causes chaos at the council by mixing all the names of the young druids that had been sorted by the council. He tries to hurt the Grand Panoramix, but his attack is blocked by Asterix, who was informed by Pectine of the impostor. Asterix and Obelix chase Sulfurix into the forest, where he manages to escape from them, while also stealing the details of the best young druid. When Pectine asks who Sulfurix is, one of the druids tells her an old story that once Panoramix and Sulfurix were both inclined towards creative inventions, but Sulfurix used his knowledge to delve into forbidden magic rituals and became the enemy of Panoramix, who gained popularity and became one of the greatest druids ever. Panoramix, Obelix, Asterix, and Pectine travel far and wide throughout Gaul to find a worthy successor. However, the search is proven futile because all the candidates they come across are not experienced enough. On their quest, they are joined by Vital Statistics, the chief, and all the men of their village who wish to accompany them in the search. Asterix asks him who is guarding the village. He replies he has left Cacophonix and all the ladies in charge of keeping the village safe. Next, we see Sulfurix make a deal with Julius Caesar to retrieve the magic potion for him in return for giving him the Carnot Forest and a train to get through his lands. With Senator Tomcris, Sulfurix heads with an army to occupy the village, but all in vain because the villagers defend themselves by drinking the magic potion. Sulfurix finally finds the druid Telefurix, who seems promising, and impresses him with his skills. Telefurix is already irked by the rules of his teacher, so he happily becomes the apprentice of Sulfurix, who teaches him how to do magic. Unbeknownst to Telefurix, Sulfurix wants Panoramix to select Telefurix as his successor, so this is why he is training him to catch Panoramix's attention. Telefurix catches on quickly, and he is able to conjure an amazing spell where he can separate mistletoe from the leaves, something he thinks that the Panoramix will appreciate. Sulfurix tells him to follow an exact spell because he claims no one knows Panoramix as he does. This does not sit well with Telefurix because when they first met, Sulfurix claimed he knew nothing about Panoramix. Hence Telefurix refuses. Sulfurix leaves, telling Telefurix that too much honesty is not going to serve him well. On the other hand, Panoramix, his team, and the villagers continue their quest of finding a suitable successor. They move heaven and earth to succeed, but all the candidates are just not cutting it, not even the last druid on the list. On the verge of giving up hope, Panoramix thinks maybe he could train this bread-multiplying druid, but Asterix tells him that his bread will not be enough to save the village against Roman attacks. Suddenly, they see Senator Tomcris posing as a celestial being, and he pretends to be communicating with a divine power that informs him about the presence of another druid across the mountain. This is all part of Sulfurix's plan. Panoramix wishes to visit the druid, but Asterix has had enough. He quits his job of protecting Panoramix and others because he sees no point in continuing this wild goose chase. He nominates an old man from the village to replace him and begins to leave, leaving Obelix heartbroken that he did not nominate his best friend. Furious, Asterix storms away into the forest. There, he hears a commotion and finds the truth about the fake prophecy they just heard. It is all the doing of Sulfurix. But the guards capture him and bring him forward to Sulfurix, who reveals his evil plan that he wants the secret potion to be available to all the people, whether good or evil. Asterix is miserable. He wants to warn Panoramix and the others, but he is unable to do so. On the other hand, Panoramix approaches Telefrix, and the entire crew assembles to watch what he has in store for them. Telefrix is torn between the two spells, his original mistletoe spell or Sulfurix's butterfly spell. At the last moment, he decides to go on with Sulfurix's spell, and creates the magic Panoramix has been looking for such a long time. Panoramix offers him to become his successor, and he accepts. Panoramix decides to train him at the Carnet Forest initially. Meanwhile, Sulfurix figures out what to do with the Carnet Forest as he will own the place soon, after his deal with Julius Caesar. He is so angry at the druids that he accidentally sets his coat on fire while being emotional, and Senator Tomcris helps him out of it, unknowingly setting fire to the forest. This makes Sulfurix so contented that he will disrupt the plans of Panoramix. Panoramix and the company make their way toward the Carnet Forest, but there they are devastated to see that the druid chamber has been reduced to ashes. However, since the full moon is only hours away, they cannot waste any time, and Panoramix begins to impart his knowledge to Telefrix. Suddenly, they are interrupted by Obelix, who brings in the frantic hogs who alert Panoramix about the attack at their village, and that the magic potion reserves have dwindled. Panoramix orders Obelix to rush him back toward the village. As they proceed through the forest trails, Panoramix gathers all the mistletoe he can with the help of Pectine, Obelix, and Telefrix so he can create the secret potion again. When they reach the edge of the mountain, they can see their village being ambushed by the Roman army. Panoramix orders Obelix to take him home, but as it happens, Sulfurix casts a spell to turn Obelix into stone, while stealing the ingredients for the secret potion. While Panoramix makes his way toward his village alone, Sulfurix asks Telefrix to conjure the potion with the knowledge imparted upon him by the Grand Panoramix. He does so, but one secret ingredient is missing. This makes Sulfurix lose his wits, and he starts putting everything he can in the cauldron. The potion bubbles furiously when the fire magic is accidentally added to it. Intrigued, Sulfurix drinks the whole potion. It gives him immense power, and he starts attacking the village with firebombs. The whole village catches fire. The villagers as well as the Roman army rush to the beach to take cover because Sulfurix attacks everyone. Chief and his men also return, and everyone runs toward the beach to save themselves. On the other hand, when Panoramix reaches his house, he is devastated to find that all his ingredients have been used up by the druids in order to concoct potions to save the people, but all in vain. He gathers what is left, but it is not enough. This is when Pectine joins him, bringing the leftover ingredients that Sulfurix had stolen earlier. She tells Panoramix that Sulfurix made Telefrix make the potion in front of her. Time is running by. Panoramix thrusts the bag of ingredients into Pectine's hand and instructs her to concoct the potion just the way she saw Telefrix do it. He gives her his scythe, and in the hilt is the secret magic ingredient, which is a drop from the last batch of the magical potion. Pectine hurriedly mixes all the ingredients in a cauldron while the druids look on. The villagers try to put out the fire. Pectine succeeds, and the wise druids help distribute the potion to the villagers, who finally manage to put out the fire due to their super strength. Panoramix encounters Sulfurix, who asks him to reveal his secret ingredient, but Panoramix refuses since he knows Sulfurix will destroy the world with. Just as Sulfurix is about to eliminate Panoramix, Asterix and Obelix save him and attack Sulfurix, who ends up in pretty bad shape. However, he comes across a puddle of potion that transforms him into a big fiery giant. Panoramix crafts a centaur robot from the Roman army, and they defeat the evil Sulfurix for good. In the end, the Roman army retreats, and the villagers rebuild their village. Panoramix tells Telefrix that he is a good man, but he needs to restart his journey. The Gauls eat their fill at a feast to celebrate their victory. Pectine expresses her concern to Panoramix that she knows the secret to the magic potion, and cannot seem to forget it. Panoramix tells her with time she will, and as she runs away to play with her friends, Panoramix thinks of her as the future owner of the magic potion recipe.